Good morning.
Good morning.
At the beginning of my semester in college, I was overwhelmed. I had been out of school for more than 10 years and wasn't sure how to make the adjustment back to being in school after all that time. In previous attempts at school, I had felt dumb. I had an awful memory and a learning disability that made writing and spelling difficult. While looking over the syllabi for my 5 classes, I had no idea how I was going to fit all that information into my brain. The information for anatomy and physiology was enough by itself. Adding in essays, computer projects, and reading assignments from other classes made my head spin. On top of all that, I was required to take a study skills class. A friend who had taken the class before told me it was worth it. Skeptical, I responded, "Are you kidding me? There's no way I'll get anything out of that class and I have no more time." The week before classes began, I decided to get a head start on the dizzying amount of reading I had to do. I picked up the Encores textbook and opened to chapter 1. I skimmed the pages lazily until I got to the section on becoming an active learner. The information on creating neural networks piqued my interest, and I read about the 3 principles of deep learning. Connect new information to things you already know, use a lot of different study techniques, and study often. Although it was interesting at the time, I had too much to do to let it sink in. Yet, as the semester progressed, those 3 principles began popping into my head. I could practically feel my neurons firing off faster and faster as I learned new material, trying to find ways to process and retain everything I was being taught. Every class moved quickly, and I found that I only had a short amount of time to learn something. I kept applying those techniques, and as long as I connected new information back to what I already knew, found new and creative ways to learn it, and repeated those activities often, I could fit so much more information into my head. Better than simply cramming, those principles enabled me to do more than just learn new information. They helped me to retain it. These 3 learning principles were extremely important for anatomy and physiology because of how much information we were responsible for. Cramming wasn't going to work. Every section was laying groundwork for the future, and I needed to retain that information. To create varied learning experiences, I tried out several different study groups, each with a different style of learning, until I finally found a group that I connected with. Afterwards, I supplemented my primary study group with other groups to have some variety. I worked hard with each group, even making up silly games to explore different ways of learning the material. One game was flashcard races. We put the names of the cranial nerves on flashcards and shuffled them, and then raced to see who could put them in order first. The more different ways I studied the information, the stronger my neural connections became. I took every opportunity to study in open lab and in class. I asked lots of questions. My classmates joked with me, saying I asked why too much. But I explained it helped me to relate the information to things I already knew. After our final lecture exam, which happened to be on neurons, my study group all gave me a hug and thanked me for improving the study sessions with my silly games and constant questioning. We all got A's. The Encores principle may seem worthless at first, but don't be fooled. They stay with you and change the way you learn. I'm grateful that I took the initiative to read the first chapter before my classes began. In high school, I was a C student, but this semester, I earned a 4.0. Connecting new information to what I already knew, using a variety of study techniques, and studying often definitely helped to make my first semester back in college a success. Thank you.